Hello everyone, today I will continue work with table syncer. It's Office.
Hello everyone.
It's Office Addin based on Flutter. So currently the purpose of today's stream is to write some data handling logic independently from Excel and some test for it, and hopefully that's it. So currently I have some data processor. I called it to because it's sounds more abstract, but in the same time it shows a context. My models are kept here in models, and I will write test right here. I think I will create the same folder structure. So to create test in Dart, I will just add as underscore test suffix, and we'll start from there. So actually I like the idea to place all tests in one group. So first I will import Flutter test, then create main, and inside of main we'll create a group. Group is the section for test which can be described with one purpose, I think. Of course there is official description, but so first I have already written header data processor. What does it mean and what it will do? To understand that, I need to open Excel and I think show what actually I'm doing. So any table in my opinion consists from header, and it can be headers row, so it can be, for example, I don't know, keys, IDs, for example, color, and quantity, for example. Okay, I don't know how to get this is better. So the headers are quite important for Excel work, because if you have two tables, for example this one and this one, and you have, for example, some positions in both tables, for example, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, there's will be white, black and red, and there is 2, 5, and that's all, I think. There will be green, for example, and yellow. So basically, as from my experience, the best way is to always have some header row which describes the values in those columns, and also you have table body which consists from values for the table. So if, for example, you can say that it is a table, and you can, of course, I don't know, add format. No, not format. Add borders to visualize this table, but in some cases there is options when you have to move actually values for table from the headers row and add some, I don't know, maybe merged to describe better what is happening here, some different names, titles, because these headers can be not meaningful for every user, and often it can be I think best practice to keep it different from human readable format. And so you can actually have some margin before tables. So in order to, for example, synchronize or transfer values from this to this in huge tables, for example, when you have I don't know, 100, 1000 or 50,000 rows and many columns, 100 columns, it will be much complicated. Of course, you can use lookup function, but it's not that efficient. So actually this is why this add-in is developing, and return to headers. The headers is the row which consists from column IDs, and it has one point of, I think, point of enter or origin. It I use top left as often it used as default in Excel functions, so this one, and any columns in any headers in this row should be near each other to have the table consistency. So in terms of code, it will be looks like, for example, like this. So we will have a list or array. The array will represent columns, no, rows. So actually this would be rows, and this would be every value in top level list will be a row, and every value in the list or array inside the second array will represent a column. So for example, how it will looks like in Dart, it will looks like this. Actually, IDs, color, and quantity. empty. So and also it will have a origin point, and I described it in one model. So the data here will have this format. Actually, I can add documentation for it. It has top left cell, this one, to actually understand when this header is placed. And I also added indexed map. So before any calculation, I need to index all keys. I called it keys, but it can be called headers inside a row to understand which IDs every value has. And for that purpose, I wrote simple data indexer. I wrote simple data indexer, which has three methods here. It's get row k based indexes, and what it does is getting by row index, actually a row, then it gets map indexed. It used map indexed to get entry, which has a key as a value. Value is a key and index is a value. And then I just use from entries constructor to generate map. And this way, in the future, I will be able to first check if the key exists. So actually, if the header exists, and if it exists, I can simply get in a fast way its index and make any transformation for this index, get values, and so on. I also wrote two more methods to actually get keys for column, because there is also one more problem. If the table, for example this one, will have two same positions, it can be quite frustrating, because if you have, for example, I don't know, for example, size, which can be different but can be used often in e-commerce, and you need to fill some values for it. Of course, you can normalize that to 1 point, but it will require some large specified code or understanding structure, or you can do it in Excel by using this tool. So actually you will have to, for example, just use the ID, and the ID will fill the values for this ID for every ID in keys column. I think that is way describes better. But anyway, let's continue. So I will start with the header data processor, maybe even data indexer. Maybe let's just copy this one data indexer. Okay, let's call it data indexer. And I will name this group as a data indexer. We'll create a test, for example. Of course, it's not TDD, test driven development, but in that case, it's okay. I will create first test to test my function getRow case based indexes. So what I will do is to create some data, for example headers data, which will be a list with the first value list, then it will has ID, okay, name, color, that's it. Then I will use data indexer get column based keys with the data as headers data, maybe not headers data, just data. Also, I have added one parameter or index. Why I have added? Because when you have data which consists from several rows, you need to understand from which row you should get values, and for that reason I added row index, and it is 0. So the get column case based values, oh sorry, not column, row case based values should return a map. So it will be result map, indexed map, result indexed map. Okay, expect result indexed map equals map equals okay. AB actually I think I can use map equals to compare two maps. I will create a new variable here. It will be expected map, maybe expected indexed map, and it would be ID, name, color, with values, which expected to be indexes for each position. And I will place expected indexed map here. And I think if I will compare with the true, it should work. So the test is written. Actually, I wrote what I expected to get from this data, and as I already have implementation, I can run this test and test actually, but it will not allow it because I have some issues with the data, but this is okay. Column values, secondary column values, there's indexes, and this is okay. Okay, I think what I can do is I think I can do something like this and then this, and we'll use the same types here, but it is not awesome. So why this is not awesome? Because I have multiplied repeated types, and I think it would be better just to create separate type dev for it. So I think I will create something like that, at least for now. Excel table data, and this would be list with the type string, no dynamic, and string here. Then I will also create for example map here. Okay, and I will create type devs here. Why I'm creating this in data indexer? Because these type devs unique for these types, and I think it will be better placed here. Not sure, but row indexed keys map, and indexed keys, indexed so I will replace this type with this type dev. Of course it will no, not like this. Okay, every type place individually. Certainly indexed indexed, how can I call it, indexed unique case, listed case. Okay, this can be unique indexed case map, which will as list. Then I will replace this Excel table string data, this one also, this I can replace by indexed case map. That will be okay. Go to here, indexed case map. This would be unique indexed case map. This would be Excel table string data. Then we'll fix constructor for this class and create here okay, I think this is fine. And there are some gone, at least for now. So I can back to the data indexer and finally run the test. And somehow, okay, it works. Then, for example, I will create another test just to make sure it will handle the data with duplicate IDs. For example, when I have names and color, it should I think the best way, it should describe the, maybe at least for now it will be 0 1 2 3 4. This would be like this. I'm not sure is it the best way or the worst way, but okay, it works. And now can add also some minor cases. So let's create test for get column unique key based values indexes. For this one, I will just copy this. Can get unique key based value based indexes. And actually, what does it mean? It means that I will work now with different rows, which actually represented by list. And for that reason, I've also added a column index here to make sure that I will use the first element of this list. So at the end, what should be placed here? And I will also create another test just to make sure it will work with duplicate keys. It will be the same. So what I'm expecting that it will have an index for each key, and it will extract it from the I think it even row index, not sure. So actually it will be a row index, not column index, because column index is expected value and the value which we set, and row index, sorry, unexpected. It's always dynamic, and what we need to find out. So 1 2 0 1 2, this will be the same. Let's test it. No. Okay. Yes, of course it failed because I need to use get column unique key based indexes. Let's test it again, and now it should pass. Yes, it passed. So the second thing is to get values actually which are duplicated, and we need to get these indexes to be the same as above here, like here, but the structure a little bit different. So let's first replace method here. Okay, it passed. So now I can write the last test for the last method. It's called key-based indexes for column. And what actually it will do quite different, because in this case every index will be placed in the list, and in this case all indexes for values should be 0 1 2 3 1 3 2 4, should be kept for specific key. It will allow us to later to place, for example, black color for ID to two positions in another table, for example here and here, and replace green with black. Okay, the test has failed, and I need to understand why. Okay, why this failed? Okay, actually I can debug it and find out why the implementation is not working. So let's do it. I have added a breakpoint. It's quite useful thing to stop code from running, and let's test it. first row is ID with the list, it's okay. The value is ID, and this is okay too. Okay, update, not sure, let's see. This has 0, it's okay. And I need to get 2 minutes, now I'll be back. And I'm back. So let's return to the code, and let's see what we have here. Name has one index, it's 1. The color has one index, it's 2. Currently we have 3 index equals 3. Let's see what value it has. Name, so column index, okay, let's see. Let's go to here, indexes 1, 2, 3. It should return, yes, it's return 1, 3. So let's keep it. One, 3, 2, 4, 0. Okay, the results are correct. Let's see why this is not working. Expected true, show false. Okay, maybe I'm doing something wrong. This return boolean. Let's see. Let's restart again. Okay, I see. Let's find out why. Okay. Okay, let's see what options we have here. try another thing. Okay, it works. So it was completely fine here. And let's also test this one. It should work too. Okay. Let's check this. Let's replace this with this. We run test again. Test is completed. So now the data indexer completely covered with the tests, at least positive ones, but it's fine for now. What next? I think that next thing is to actually implement logic for data transfer from one column to another. And for that reason, I will create another thing, or use, I think, sync parameter. Here we are. We have should update values, should add new values, should okay, what can I do? It's quite interesting to find out if the switch will work with the water flow. We'll create enum enumeration D A B C. Okay, let's try to B C D. Strange. Okay, let's try. What if I will have label as a target? Continue db. It's strange. Okay, let's see. see. Okay, let's continue. Why I started searching for the keys is because it's in the loop when the values will be handled. I will also need to add some options how the values can be inserted into the column. So let's start, I think, from test this time. So I will test Dart processor here, and we'll start from the beginning. Data processor will be able to update values secondary values, and it should be able insert secondary values. What else? Clear sec values. For action. What actually does this means? Use column data processor here. So to start working with column data processor, we need to get, oh, I see, it should be private constructor, the same as here. load keys here from values. So the values, these values actually will be, for example, here. So this would be key data. This would be secondary key data. So I will start from simple example. Then I will use result. Not just handle, but date column data. Date values true. Third new values false. Clear. Before clear all. For false. So this result this result secondary values should be so this is the keys. I will mix all values, the keys in secondary key data to make it a little bit more complex. So I will move all this data to the group body. Then I will also create actually a values. Values. Secondary values. So the first column values would be, for example, ID1, name, I think that's wrong. This would be red 1, red 2, red 4, red 3, and this would be red 5, red 2, and red 1, just like this. Also the values for it would be, for example, something like that. For example, the red one, 1, 2, 3, and in that case this would be for example 5, I don't know, maybe even x, and 1, no, it will be red, for example. So what actually we need to act here? The values of secondary column should be updated accordingly to found keys. The found keys are red 1 here and red 2 here. So here we will have which values? Red 1, 1. It's placed right here. Then red 2, B2. So basically we expect that all values will be looks like this. And I think list equals should be enough. I hope. Okay, it's set, it should be not set, it should be a list, of course. I think this is the first test. And the second test, 1, 2, 3, okay. The second test would be, looks like we need to insert values. So what I will do is to actually pass all values from secondary column values here, and as in those keys we don't have only this key red 3, we also need to add value for this key, and the value will be 3, so I expect that value will be 3 here, and this will be true. Update values should be false, insert values true. This should be something like that. And the last test should be, oops, here, false, true, false. Okay. And the last test, it looks like this one. So I will not insert new values, but I will clear values. So basically there will be null values for each row, and that's it. no, that's it. Clear all values before. Yep, that's it. So this plain property should just reset all data in values, and that's all. So let's actually implement this feature here. I will add update column data here. And in this method, I will place all those required parameters here. This would be Boolean. This would be Excel table data. The important thing that we cannot expect that all values will be the string. Of course, they can be dynamic because they can be, for example, data type or integer or double or whatever type it can be, even now. So we just need to not rely on data type here and just move it like we don't know what we're moving. We just place it here and that's all. So let's get started. To actually place column values, we need to first first find out which columns which values exist and which values are not. So we need to check column indexed keys with secondary column indexed keys and find out existing columns and non-existent columns. So how we can do that actually? One time and for all operations. I think the best idea will be to provide this to the column data processor during initialization. So right here in factory. And then here I need to create new secondary keys, indexed keys, not indexed keys, new secondary keys, maybe indexed keys, something like that. So basically we need to, this would be indexed keys map, maybe, no, not indexed, but just unique keys, because if we don't have a key, then we just add it and it would be unique. But in that case, it can be indexed keys map. Then I can just replace the meanings of it. Maybe something like that. New indexed case, updatable indexed case. Then new indexed case, indexed case. Okay, then what we should do, I think we need to create some comparator to compare those index to those keys which exist and which are not, and place it right here. How we can do that? I think, oh, I forgot about one thing. Indexed keys. So actually there will be also indexed keys which are unique indexed keys, and just not to mess with the keys, I need to return secondary to naming back. So this should be a colon indexed case. And those keys should be compared to this indexed keys. How we can do that? I think to do that, the best way is to create the data comparer. Okay, this sounds strange, but it's I think maybe it will make sense. So the data comparer will, let's actually write a test for it. We'll go to the, okay, let's create another test. Data comparer test Dart. Let's just copy all this, place it here, remove necessary tests, change the name of the test, and can compare to keys. Basically, what we expect. We expect new key, indexed keys, and table indexed keys, the new indexed keys, would be placed here, updatable here. which data we will use. We will use, think, this data, keys, secondary keys, or maybe not like this, like think something like this. 0, 1, 2. This would be a map. This would be a map 2. This would be Excel, not Excel. The table. No. How can I call it? Let's see. Okay, this would be indexed keys map. This would be unique indexed keys map. This would be 0, for example, 1, 2. Okay, and what we expect actually, we expect that new indexed keys be unique indexed keys map, and updatable, indexed map, be something like that. Place key data here, secondary keys data here. We even rename it. Something like that. And what else? What else? Again, data compare is here. Let's actually import. Import data compare here. And expected updatable keys should look like this. Expected new indexed map. So here we are, red 5, 2, 1. Expected new indexed keys. New indexed map. Okay. This should be red. Okay, let's think. So basically we expect new key red 3 because it's not presented here, and we expect that updatable in indexed maps is would be red 2 and red 1 with the indexes 1 and 2. And what else? Now we know indexes for each place here, and it can be associated with the origin indexes. Maybe it's not the best structure, I think, but I will work on that later. So feel something is missing. It's not updating values, but I think it's not quite important because I will not update it, and that's okay. So this is what I'm expecting. So let's start with the implementation. Implementation would look like this. We'll provide keys here. The indexed keys map looks like unique. This would be indexed keys map. And what else should return? Should return two types of keys, two variables. So this would be unique. This would be indexed keys map. Return here new updatable. Something like that. The analyzer is not responding. That's strange, but I think it's because it's better version. It's okay. So what I've been thinking, if we will later we'll use a loop for each key, we definitely will be needed two values. First, we will need origin, the origin indexes. It's like birthplace from where we need to take actual value. And the second, we need to find out which indexes should be updated, deleted, or inserted. So I think the data structure should be not that easy. Maybe it should look a little bit complicated here. So for that reason, I will create, I think, new model here, and I will call it, I don't know, maybe something value indexed value. I think that should be a meaningful name. The indexed value will looks like we'll take one parameter is list. It's row indexes, and the second parameter will be row index or origin row index. That's, I think, much better. So in that case, I need to run build runner to actually let's see. Okay, it's built. That's okay. Now let's go to the models. Take index value model, and I think I will create so the difference will be that I will use indexed value model as a value for each string. Maybe something like that, or I'm not sure. Let's think. I think that would be okay. So basically I will require data with origin points. So now let's go to the test. No, that test, and change types here. So the types would be looks like okay, indexed models, origin indexes. The origin would be 2, the row indexes 3, would be the same for this, for this, with the difference of origin row indexes. So for red one, origin row index will be 0. For red 2, it would be a 1. Okay, it's not good, or maybe it's good. Okay, let's see. Red 3, index 2, index 3, red 2, index 1, index 1, red 1, index 2, index 0. Okay, so we'll expect something like that. Maybe it's not the best way, but maybe it will work fast enough. So let's continue to implement actually data comparer here. And I will do the simple for in loop with entries, key entry, maybe even to use new syntax. Okay, and map entry, key value. That's nice. That's very nice actually. And now secondary text. Okay, can check this contains key. If it is contains key, then I will place it to updatable. Okay, no, like this one, to updatable. Okay, no, not like that. This is way better. Value. Text contains key. Hey, actually, origin row index would be value, even index. No, it should be a value. Something like that. That's nice. And row indexes actually would be like this one. Okay, actually they can not exist, but it's another question. So if it has secondary, okay, no, it should exist in every cases. If it's not exist, then should provide almost the same logic, but row indexes is a very complicated thing, because I don't know which index actually is which. So to make this happen, I need to know last index and to add it and to use it as point of origin. So what can I do? Or I can no, it's not good. Okay, how I can do that? Indexes. Actually, the secondary indexed keys contains a length, and it contains all the keys that I need. So actually, I know the last key. The last key will be the last secondary index would be a length. And for that reason, I can just place it here and just add new one value to this index, and that should be okay. And that way all new indexed keys will be incremented, and it would simplify the logic, I think. So I think that's it. That's at least for the data comparer. Let's now run a debug. Oh, I have 5 errors. Okay, let's see. Data comparer keys. Let's something like that. Indexed keys like that. Like that. errors which need to identify where it is. Okay, it's here. Somehow the formatter does not work like expected, which is strange. But that's okay. So let's see. The result values date. It's currently void. So it's another thing. Let's test. What just happened? Let's debug. Okay. Let's test it another way. SD packages score Flutter test. Source data test. Data score. I see. Nope. Okay, I think it's too early use these types in test, so I'll create another data class. New updatable model. New values. Values. New updatable. Not the best thing. Okay. Let's change the this to new updatable Excel values. Now let's actually test result. With the test. Okay, the test has passed. And now I can return to the data processor, to the update column data. So it should return Excel table data. Of course, I see. Where result. New values, datable values, and now what I can do is to actually implement the logic here, and let's find out how we can do that. First, let's start from can update secondary values. Okay, maybe not clear secondary values before action. That's quite simple. If clear all values before the values which will be returned result data table data will be just same as the secondary column values, but will be indexed like now, and result data will be returned accordingly. Not like that, to kill all the idea. Okay, then let's test this. Should be okay. It's not okay. And I think I know why. Let's try again. The test has passed. So let's move to another, insert two secondary values. So in this case, or not exactly in this case, can do something like that, I think. I think this would be better. That would be must. It would be better performance if I will separate values. Maybe even something like that would be much lighter than mapping a function. And then to insert new values. So for if insert new values should update okay, and if it should insert new values, I need to loop for every new secondary indexed keys. I think in this case I can just get values. So basically it would be except value. Then I will get origin value. Maybe not like that, or no, like that. We'll use indexed value original index here to get value. Actually, we'll use first. So the idea is to always get the first element. Okay, this is not good. This is not good. A better column index here. No. The first column one column this should be 1 column 2 contain column only. So the value this would be origin value, and the origin value will be placed here. Yep. I use the first elements because the value should be always the keys in the inserted keys should be okay. Maybe it would be better if I will just create another parameter here. It would be column data, column index, secondary column index. It would be integer and it would be 0. Original index first would be here, and then take a column index. Here I will have result index here. Then actually we'll add a list with value in it, and that should be enough. So let's finally test it. Debug. Okay, not an inclusive range. Okay, the thing is we need to create global list from okay, field and list t global true. Let's try again. Maybe this time it will work, but not sure. Okay, not inclusive range. Okay. Global false. Okay, global true. And this be list from elements global true. Okay, let's try again. Actually, just thought that not edit it, and can use this, but it doesn't matter because of course the thing is okay. Then what can I do? What can I do here? Okay, I can insert result value here, and it should work fine. Now actually no, it doesn't work. Why? Okay, I think I know why. To just fix the test here, run it again. Okay, the test is passed, and now I need to do just one more test to update secondary values. So let's just create here update values. In that case, I will loop through updatable secondary index keys, and the principle will be a little bit different because I will also loop for every index in row index, and to make this happen I will create new function inside of function which we'll call insert result value. So basically what will be needed here is first it will require origin row index right here, and secondary values. Okay, origin value colon index result row index. Okay, the result row index, and that's it. So here I will replace this with the function result origin row index. We'll remove it. Not all of that. All of that. And now I will also add insert result and here, and actually row index be right here. So in this case all three methods should work just fine for any duplicate values IDs, and should replace these values successfully. Let's test it. See what will happen. Oh, okay, so let's stop it. Stop it. Okay. Result equals Okay, now it should work. Let's debug. Okay, let's see. What we're waiting here? Should update values true, should insert values false, should clear before false, expected 5, 2, 1, actual 5, 2, x1 red, which location 2, 6 instead of 1. Okay, okay, so something went wrong, and why? Let's see. Let's actually debug this. Let's see what will happen. So updatable secondary indexed keys have two values, like 2 keys, and that's good. They have the second and first, the second and the first, and that's what we are looking for. So let's see why it's not working. Indexed value, that's okay. Row indexes source, okay, 2, that's okay too. The origin row index is 0, the result row index 2. Let's see how it will be handled here. Origin row index from column, okay. Why column error invalid params? Why it's invalid params? So that's strange. It seems like a debug error, but anyway, origin row index is 0, origin value is 1. So I see. The reason is because we uncertain the value. No, not because we uncertain the value. Insert should be okay. Let's see. Okay, I see. This way will not work. Okay, I think that it will be better if I will use something like that. Start result row index and end be zero, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. The result row plus 1. Not sure, but let's check that. Debug. Okay, it's another thing. Okay, I think I can just use this one and this one. That's all, without any definitions. Okay, the test is passed. So with all of that, let's rerun whole test here, and all tests are passed. So now we have successfully implemented logic to update, insert, clear secondary values. I think that I need to maybe to add one more test. It will be can update, insert, clear, please duplicate values, keys, duplicate keys. So for that test, we'll need special data. I think I will even place it to another group, basics, and here we are, another group. I'm completely lost in the tests, but that's okay. Okay, let's move this test here. And what difference it will have as so actually I need to check the music because it's stopped. Okay, and I'm back. Let's continue then. The key data will be the same, the column values would be the same, but the secondary data will be much more complicated. I will duplicate the logic. So I will have 1, 2, 3 red 2, 1, 2, 2 red 1. So actually secondary column values would be 5x, I don't know, TRS, XS, V, doesn't matter actually. What is matter is what actually data we expect. The expected data will be first, let's copy that to these lines, and as I don't have red 5 in the origin, then it should be now, because the clear should clear all of that. Then there will be complications. 2 2 1 2 1 2 1. Okay, so I think it would be better if I will just copy this 2 1 2 1 2. So actually this data should be replaced by this data, plus the red 3 should be added as well. So the last item should be 3. It's much more complicated thing, but I hope that this would be handled as well. True, the true, and true. Column secondary values. Okay, I'm ready to get started and debug. Hopefully it will work. And it didn't. Okay, let's see why. Actually, let's see. First element we have null as expected. We have field numbers as expected, but instead of expected 3, which are here, we get null, and this is not what expected. So what actually is possible to do here? Let's see why this is happening. Let's debug. I see, and no. Let's wait. Result data. No, I still don't see it. No. Insert index 2. Nope. I think set range in that case would be much better. Not sure. Okay, well, let's see. Stop. Let's see what is happening. So new secondary is red 3, which has row indexes equals to 3. That's bad. That's quite bad, because the row index should be not 3, but much more. It should be 6, not 3. That's not good. So let's see actually why this is happening. I think the comparator is working is not right. Okay, let's see why this is happening. Comparator here. Okay, let's see. Secondary index key as a key. Updatable. New index key. Last secondary index. Secondary index keys at length. Okay, let's try to test it again. See what will happen. Okay, here we are, and we have a key. The red 3 is correct. Original row index is 2, which are correct too. The last secondary index is 3. Why? Why the last secondary index is 3? Okay, Red 5. That's strange. Red 5, 2, 1. Okay. That's not okay. Secondary column keys. Okay, here we are. 1, 2, 1, 2. I see. Okay. This will not work. I think it would be better to change the logic. Okay, let's try something. Let's try to run compare keys. Okay, it will fail as expected. So the row indexes should be not important here. We'll just add origin value here. That should be enough. And now it works. So let's go to the all. Okay, didn't work here as expected. So let's run all tests which we developed today and see what will happen. So all tests are passed, so 100%. And I think that's it for today. The logic which was covered was same. The data testing, the data handling for Excel, and I think that's it. The next step will be to write actually maybe mock API for Excel, and then to write actually an Excel API to integrate it with already written logic and test it in Excel, and hopefully all will work and will work well, but not sure. Oh, those are no next steps. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Leave your comments, subscribe if you like, ask questions.